weird noise this truck makes is a warning, and lately, this thing sounds like it's been begging for help. This is my 2013 Ford Raptor with 184,000 miles on it, and honestly, it still runs amazing. But the problem is, underneath, it's starting to sound like a shopping cart. The rear end is making a humming noise. And there's just some noises that's coming from, I think, the U-joints on the drive shaft. So instead of waiting for something to break, we're gonna go ahead and fix it now. Let's just show you guys everything we have for the Gen 1 because it's gonna bring this thing back to life. Right off the bat, we have a Gen 2 axle and an axle seal. And that's because the driver's side axle right now has a ripped CV boot. It's been like that since I got it. I think it's also making a little noise. So we went with the Gen 2 axle. The Gen 2 axle is 100% direct swap in fit. You don't have to do anything special. And I guess these are apparently like a better axle overall. And really, to get these from like Rock Auto for the OEM one isn't that pricey. And when you're doing an axle, go ahead and get yourself an axle seal. Otherwise, you're gonna be doing it twice. You basically have to do that to do this. You don't have to, but you're just gonna end up doing it again anyway. The next item on our list is this. This is the IWE vacuum line. Mine is pinched currently. We got a new one. I think this was like under $100, and we're gonna get that swapped out as well. And back here is our fuel pump module. And the fuel pump module goes underneath your spare tire, and a lot of times when this goes out, all it'll do is it'll just keep cranking, but you won't start. That's generally your fuel pump module. These are notorious for going out. They're like 60 some dollars. It's good to just have one of these, especially as a spare, because last I knew these were becoming harder to get, but I found this and got it shipped pretty quick. And next to our fuel pump module, we have these Spicer U-joints. I believe that's what's causing the mayhem with my little like low speed squeak that's like so annoying that I'm so sick of, and I'm sure people see me driving it and are thinking like, look at that piece of junk. So I don't blame them. Come over here, we have the Spicer diff cover. This is off of Amazon, and a lot of dudes are doing this just because it's got the drain plugs, so you don't have to remove this in the future. And for just over $100, this will clean up the rear end quite a bit. SVT decal off of Etsy. This is for like the floor mats, but you just got to cut it and it'll fit perfectly in this little spot. And apparently, if you go with this cover, the gasket that it comes with is not going to seal 100% correctly. So everyone's running this lube blocker gasket, which I think I did get this one off of Amazon. So if you are going to do this cover, go with the lube blocker gasket. And it comes with bolts, but I'm not even going to use the bolts that it comes with. I picked up the ARP bolts because I had an extra $30. Why not? The other things that we have the full diff kit for the rear end. This was like $355 for this. I think at this point, the main humming noise coming out of the Gen 1 is the pinion bearing. If we're going to take the rear end apart and do some stuff, we might as well just fix it right. So we have more bearings here, seals, more bearings. And unfortunately, I will not be videoing the whole install and what it all takes to do the whole rear end of the truck because it's going to take my buddy some hours to do this. And I'm just going to drop the truck off to him, and then that way he can just go through it and there's no rush and I don't sit there and blab to him and then he forgets something and things get nasty. So we need to get everything loaded up in the back of the truck, and then let's head on out to my buddy's house, get this thing dropped off because I'm so beyond ready for this thing to stop squeaking. Before we tear the Gen 1 apart, we need to talk about my favorite floor liners. These are the 3W floor liners I've been running in my 2019 Raptor, and honestly, for the price, I think they're one of the best interior mods you could buy for the truck. Most floor liners either don't fit right, they curl up over time, they cost an insane amount of money. These honestly fit almost OEM. What I really like is how much coverage you get compared to the factory mats. The fronts go all the way up under the seats, onto the sides, completely behind the pedals, all the way around, so you are completely covered from anything hitting your carpets. Same for the rear. Everything fits tight because it is laser measured and 3D molded specifically for this truck. They also have the snap lock technology, so they snap into the factory floor clips. And usually for cleaning these, if it's the wintertime, I'm going to hit them with a pressure washer because of all of the road grime. But for instances like today, all I'm going to do is, since they're not that bad, we're literally going to pull these out and just shake all the stuff out of it, reinstall it. Then I'm just going to hit these with a little all-purpose interior cleaner. Now they look fresh again in under 5 minutes. I'll throw the link down in the description below. Now let's get back to trying to save the Gen 1 before it financially ruins me. We have the Gen 1 back in our possession. My man Caleb knocked this thing out in probably about 2 weeks, and that was with me bugging him because my Gen 2 Raptor is close to running out of miles with the warranty that it has. So I've been trying to like preserve it because I don't know what direction I'm gonna go with it. I think I'm gonna end up redoing the warranty, but I might just go with like the base package or something like that. I will update you guys. That's for another video. Caleb knocked this thing out, and as you can tell, there's like no noise coming from the rear end. Much better. The only noise that you're actually hearing right now is going to be from the Maxxis Razor MT tires, which is to be expected. These are a mud terrain tire, so they are going to have like a little road noise, but I will take the road noise that they have for the trade-off of what they look like, because I really do kind of like the way these look, just because it looks much more aggressive, and I feel like it just suits the Gen 1 very well. But stick around and we'll break down how much we invested with all the parts and the labor that I was charged, which I feel like overall was pretty fair. There's also a couple other things that need to get fixed, but we didn't know about it until we had it on the lift, so we'll talk about that. And now the only noise that I'm hearing is sometimes like an exhaust rattle noise, and it's usually at low speed. It's just kind of a little weird noise. I'm pretty sure it's the exhaust rattle. So we've got rid of 90% of all the noises, but now we just have a little exhaust rattle, which we'll get that addressed and get that knocked out as well. Culprit number one of all of the noise that the Gen 1 was making was definitely the pinion bearing. So the pinion bearing and the rear ends are kind of notorious, especially for higher miles, going out, and they're going to start making some noise. Basically, that noise was from like the minute I started driving. So low speed, high speed, it just was there completely. And when we took the bearing out, there was a little scarring on it, and like the race that it goes in had some scarring. Now, it didn't really look like that bad, but it's bad enough to where it's just going to keep making some like atrocious noise, which I showed you guys earlier in the video. Now, you could just go ahead and replace just the pinion bearing. I figured if we're going to dive into the rear end, we might as well just replace it all, because this truck at 180 some thousand miles, why just do the pinion bearing and then something else in the rear end goes bad? This way we knocked it out in one piece, and then if I decide to sell this truck down the road, which I'm not selling, by the way, but if I do, they're going to appreciate the fact that I redid all of the rear end. So all the bearings, all the seals, diff kit, everything. And then we topped it off. We did the lube blocker gasket, because in order to do that Spicer diff cover, you got to do the lube blocker gasket. The deal with that Spicer diff cover, it is basically the same exact thing as the Ford Performance one. It's probably just literally the Ford Performance one without a decal. But then on top of the lube blocker gasket, the diff cover, that's when I also did the ARP bolts. Now, you don't have to do the ARP bolts. That was optional for like an extra 30 bucks, some stainless steel bolts, throw them in there. I think it looks just a little better. Having that diff cover, for one, you can change your fluids without actually removing the cover. And it just says that, hey, this has had some kind of rear end service, and you can just kind of identify, I guess. And then our next culprit was the U-joints. So that was that like low speed, 20 mile an hour, just like obnoxious, like kind of rubbery sound. I don't even know how you describe it. That was the U-joints. So both the U-joints on the rear differential, we went ahead and replaced. I think the very rear one was our issue. That was the one making all of the noise. So I'll link those part numbers down below. But on the rear differential, the rear U-joint and the front U-joint on it are the same exact part numbers, and I just did the Spicer ones just because I've heard really good things about the Spicer U-joints. And the last item that we had fixed up was the driver's side CV axle. That thing was completely roached. The boot was tore. I'm sure there was probably not even any grease left in it. But we fixed that. But now what we notice is on the passenger side axle, it's leaking. So the axle seal on the passenger side is leaking, and I should have just swapped it out with a new axle and just done it all at once, but I kind of just ordered that part in a pinch. So what we're going to do is we are going to order another axle. We're going to order the Gen 2 for the passenger side and the axle seal, and then that way now it's got 2 fresh axles. Now we need to get back to the garage, because there's one other thing that was causing me issues with this a while back. If you guys follow along, I fixed it. Whether that's the right way or not, but it's been fixed and I haven't had issues since. And we also need to break down how much we've spent just on this last haul between parts and labor. The other issue that I was having a while back, I told you guys that I kept blowing that fuse. That's the fuse that goes for the radiator fans. That kept blowing. That's because there's a fuse tab from the Morimoto headlights in with that, and I thought it was because that connection was loose. That's not the issue. The issue is, I just kept blowing that fuse. It's not a loose connection. If we just come up under here, I thought this thing was coming loose because it really does come out very easily. But the problem was I just kept blowing that fuse. This one's a 25 amp fuse, And then this one that was in it is a 10 amp fuse, and that's the one that kept blowing. So literally all I did was I switched the blue one. I went from a 10 amp to a 15 amp fuse, and I have yet to blow that fuse again. And I have now drove this truck probably at least 20 times. It would have done blown by now. So for some reason, I just went up to a 5 amp extra, and that fixed us. And now some of you guys are probably like, you didn't fix the root cause. I don't know, but maybe Morimoto's suggestion is just 5 amp under. I don't know if anybody else having this issue, but it fixed me because now I never have to replace that fuse. I feel like that fixed it. And I always knew when it blew because the Morimoto DRL wouldn't light up after I started the truck. They would be off, and then obviously my radiator fans wouldn't kick on. So the truck would either A, overheat, or B, my air conditioner wouldn't work. So if you're having this issue, go up to a 5 amp fuse. Maybe somebody knows more than I do and they can tell me why, but it worked. In the fuel pump module, that relay, we have it, like I said, but we're not gonna swap it. I'm basically just gonna keep this in the event that maybe this one fails and I just have one on hand. That way I get, I guess, more use out of the old one. I don't know. I just don't really feel like dropping the spare tire right now. Either way, 60 bucks for one of these. Keep it in your glove box or something. It's literally 2 bolts to plug in, but you gotta drop your spare tire, and honestly, it's just not lining with my core values tonight. But we have it. We need to break down how much all the parts were and the labor. I don't have a running total right now. Let me put some together. Okay, we have now got a running total. I totaled up all the parts, all the labor. I'm not gonna lie, when I originally had this done, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be under a certain amount. It's not gonna be that bad. Now that I've totaled it up, it was a lot more than what I thought, but it's still technically cheaper than going to an actual shop and having them fix this. So we have overnight parts from Japan. This is gonna be basically for the rear end, AKA the diff kit. So we have Spicer diff cover, $185. These are the quantities. Putting our total at $1,135 just for the parts. Labor, I was charged $1,000, which honestly is pretty fair. Grand total, $2,135. I suppose the only thing I'm not counting is the Etsy sticker, which was like not even $20. And I didn't calculate in the fuel pump module, which was like another 60. So I guess add 60 bucks, 70 bucks to that price. So we're basically $2,200. We're a little over $2,200. So that's just another phase of getting the Gen 1 even better than when I first purchased it. But that's all I've got for today's video. If you guys have any suggestions on stuff to do to this, like preventative maintenance, drop it down below because I would like to know, and I'm sure a lot of you other people would like to know. And I've got some more stuff in store for the Gen 2. Not yet though. Probably next video will be, I don't know. Actually, I have two things going. I could do the Gen 2 next, or I could do the Gen 1 next. I don't know. Anyways, guys, peace.